Welcome back, beautiful souls. Today we're diving deep into January 2026. And I have to tell you, this is not just another January. This is the month that sets the stage for the most transformative year of our lifetime. In this video, I'm going to walk you through January almost day by day. I'm going to be looking at the major transits, aspects, and planetary movements with the exact dates, and I will provide degrees as well in some cases. And then we will be looking at your specific sun sign, so I will break it down what this means in your everyday life, your relationships, or your career, your money, or your spiritual journey. And here's the thing. January ends with one of the rarest planetary ingresses we'll ever experience. Neptune entering Aries for the first time in 165 years. So grab your calendar, take some notes, and let's map out your January 2026 together. Before I go into the day-by-day breakdown, let me give you the overview, because context is everything. January 2026 is what I call a preparation month and a transition month. We begin with all the personal planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Sun in Capricorn, creating this grounded, practical, let's get things done energy. But by the end of the month, Mercury, Venus, and Mars have all shifted into Aquarius, completely transforming the vibe from traditional to revolutionary. And here's what makes this month extraordinary. First, we have Saturn at the very last degrees of Pisces all month long. Saturn moves from 26 degrees to 28 degrees Pisces through January. Saturn had been in Pisces since March 2023, teaching us lessons about spirituality, compassion, boundaries with the formless, and mastering our emotions. January represents the final exam. Whatever spiritual lessons you've been learning since 2023, January is when you demonstrate mastery. In real life, this looks like finally getting or setting healthy boundaries with that energy draining friend or family member. It's finishing that creative or spiritual project you've started years ago. It's realizing you can be compassionate without being a martyr. Second, we have the Neptune also sitting at the very end of Pisces, preparing for its historic shift into Aries on January 26th. Neptune has been in Pisces since 2011. That's 14 years. For many of you watching this, Neptune has been in Pisces your entire adult life. Neptune in Pisces brought us the rise of social media, filtered reality, increased addiction and escapism, but also massive spiritual awakening, meditation going mainstream, the spiritual but not religious movement. All of that, Neptune in Pisces. On January 26th, Neptune enters Aries for the first time in 165 years. None of us have experienced this. This is once in multiple lifetimes astrology. And third, we have Jupiter retrograde in Cancer all month. Jupiter moves backward from 21 degrees to 17 degrees Cancer. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer at its absolute strongest, but it's retrograde, which means the expansion is internal rather than external. This is the month for reviewing your emotional growth, reevaluating home and family matters, and going deeper into what truly makes you feel secure. Fourth, Uranus stations direct on January 30th at 27 degrees Taurus. Uranus has been retrograde since September 2025, asking us to internally review our values, finances, and material security. On January 30th, Uranus starts its preparation for the direct motion, and we can start implementing the changes we've been contemplating. And fifth, Pluto is moving direct through early Aquarius, continuing its 20-year transformation of collective consciousness, technology, and power structures. So that's the setup. Now let's go week by week and day by day. So we begin 2026 with heavy Capricorn energy. The Sun is in Capricorn until the 19th, and all three personal planets, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, are in Capricorn at the start of the month. The Sun is here until January 19th. Mercury and Mars, January 20th, January 23rd, and Venus up until January 18th. This is maximum Capricorn energy, ambition, discipline, structure, responsibility, building things that last. Mercury in Capricorn. January 2nd to January 20th. Mercury governs how we think, communicate, learn, and process information. In Capricorn, Mercury is practical, strategic, realistic, and focused on results. So from January 1st, 2nd to January 19th, 20th, your thinking will be goal-oriented and practical, focused on what actually works, strategic about time and resources, and less emotional and more logical. Then Venus is in Capricorn. On January 1st, Venus is already there. It's been there since December. It is now at 11 degrees and moves out of Capricorn by January 17th, January 18th. Venus governs love, relationships, beauty, values, money. In Capricorn, Venus is mature, practical, loyal, and focused on commitment. So your approach to love is more serious and less frivolous. It's focused on long-term potential, appreciating reliability in partners, attracted to mature and accomplished people. And then finally, Mars in Capricorn throughout January up until the 23rd. This is about disciplined action. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. It functions at its absolute best here. So Mars in Capricorn is like a seasoned general with a detailed battle plan. It's strategic, disciplined, enduring, ambitious, and unstoppable. So you will have incredible focus on long-term goals, stamina and endurance, strategic thinking, ability to delay gratification for bigger rewards. So, Capricorn. Your Capricorn Stellium is obviously in your for a first house of self, identity, appearance, life, your direction in life. So, obviously, what this house governs is your sense of self and identity, your physical appearance and your body, and how others perceive you, your approach to life and personal goals and direction. For Capricorn rising, there is an intense focus on personal goals and self-improvement during January, especially in the beginning of the month. Thinking strategically about your life direction is what you're going to be doing and focusing on. For example, you can set a specific goal, a personal goal for the year, or create detailed action plans. or upgrade your professional wardrobe, or approach self-development with discipline, like gym schedules, skincare routines, personal branding. If you're a Capricorn sun, your core identity is amplified now. This is your season. So maximum clarity about who you are and where you are going. It's what you're going to be seeing at the beginning of the month. So for example, you will feel more confident and self-assured, making decisions about your life direction without seeking approval, and stepping into leadership roles or taking charge of your personal narrative. If you're a Capricorn moon, you are emotional. Your emotional fulfillment is through personal achievement and visible progress right now. You need to see yourself improving, so you can feel emotionally satisfied when you accomplish goals. So for this can see you creating lists, tracking progress, and finding peace in becoming the person you want to be through consistent effort. On January 2nd, there is a full moon in Cancer at 13 degrees. The moon governs our emotions, instincts, subconscious patterns, nurturing needs, sense of safety and security, and how we process feelings. It represents our inner world, our relationship with money, family, our need for comfort, and our emotional responses to life. Full moons specifically bring illumination, culmination, release, and emotional clarity. What was hidden becomes visible, and situations reach their peak. So, the first major lunar event of 2026 is this one. This full moon is significant because it's the wolf moon, it's the traditional name for January's full moon. It's conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. It is a big orb though. But Jupiter at 20 degrees Cancer does amplify this energy. It opposes the Sun in Capricorn, so your work, home, public, private achievement, nurturing tension. Full moons bring things to light, create emotional peaks, and often bring situations to completion. So, in general, what you might experience for all of us would be strong emotions about family or home situations, realizations about what you need to feel emotionally secure, family gatherings or important conversations, home related news or decisions, and heightened intuition and emotional sensitivity. This full moon asks us all, what do you need to feel at home in your own life? So, this full moon in Cancer on January 3rd is at 13 degrees Cancer. So, the Sun is at 13 degrees Capricorn, opposing the Moon at 13 degrees Cancer. Jupiter at 20 degrees Cancer also here conjuncts the moon within a 7-degree orb. So you will be most effective if you have planets or angles at 11 to 15 degrees Cancer, as the moon is conjunct those planets. So you can see emotional culmination, family home revelations. If you are 11 to 15 degrees Capricorn, the Sun is conjunct this full moon. So career, public life illuminated there. If you have any planets or angles at 11 to 15 degrees Aries, there is a square now from both the Sun and the Moon, so there will be some tension between independence and family versus career demands. And same for Libra, 11 to 15 degrees, the square from both Sun and the Moon can see some relationship needs versus home work balance challenge there. And if you are anything between 17, 18 degrees to 22 degrees Cancer, Jupiter is also conjunct this full moon for you within a 7-degree orb. So you can see blessings in your home, family, and emotional abundance in general. Now, if you also have planets at between 18 and 22 degrees Cancer specifically, Jupiter is directly conjunct them during this full moon, creating an extra blessing in home, family, and emotional realm. So this can see some beautiful manifestations through family gatherings, home improvement gifts or opportunities, emotional healing that feels miraculous, family member bringing good news, or feeling abundantly supported and loved. Your home situation can be improving significantly at this date. Pregnancy, if that's your path, it's also possible. Family, financial support, or inheritance in general. So Capricorn, for you, the full moon is going to fall into your seventh house of partnerships. It is at 13 degrees Cancer, so this opposition will be felt mostly by those of you who have your moon, sun, or ascendant, or any other planets in Capricorn at um, between 10 to 16 degrees. So what does the full moon, what can the full moon represent for you? On January 3rd, you can see there is some relationship culmination or partnership clarity, commitment or separation. Jupiter blesses. Jupiter is also here, 20 degrees. Its blessing can be engagement or a deepening commitment, attracting generous partner, or relationship healing. So, for example, you can see a partner proposing or having important conversation, or business partnership can solidify during this time. Definitely understanding what you need in a relationship is going to be the theme for you of this full moon. So if we now move on to the second and third week of January, so let's say from the 18th to the 21st of January, that's when the great shift begins. So let's start first with January 18th. There is a new moon in Capricorn. New moons mark fresh starts, new beginnings, intention setting, and planting seeds for the future. When the sun and the moon align in the sky, it creates a powerful portal for manifesting, initiating projects, and committing to new paths. New moons are about potential, possibilities, and consciously choosing what you want to grow in your life over the next lunar cycle. This is extraordinarily significant because 28 degrees Capricorn is an anaretic degree. It carries wisdom of entire sign. New moons represent new beginnings. It's the best time to set intentions. And final Capricorn new moon before the sun enters in Aquarius the next day. So set intentions around career goals, long-term legacy, structures and systems, responsibility, authority, achievement. This new moon says to all of us, build something that will last. So, the new moon in your first house, Capricorn, um, of self identity, appearance, life direction, and personal approach, it will be very powerful because this is basically your new moon. It's the most powerful of the year for personal reinvention. Whether you are a Capricorn rising, stepping into your identity, a Capricorn sun aligning with your purpose, or a Capricorn moon claiming emotional sovereignty, this is about who you are becoming at 28 degrees. This is mastery. You are ready to embody your full authority and step into your power unapologetically. For example, you can write out your identity statement now, who you are, what you stand for, and what you're building, and read it daily. You can make a physical change that reflects this new self, like new wardrobe or haircut or fitness commitment. You set 3 non-negotiable personal goals for 2026 and share them with someone who will hold you accountable. Just an example of what this new moon can see you doing at this point in time. Or this can see you practicing how you introduce yourself with confidence, owning your accomplishments without diminishing yourself. On the same day, on January 18th, Venus enters Aquarius, leaves Capricorn and enters Aquarius. Venus governs love, relationships, attraction, beauty, pleasure, values, money, art, and what brings us joy. It shows how we give and receive affection, what we find beautiful, how we relate to others, and what we value most. Venus represents our capacity for connection, harmony, aesthetics, and the quality of sweetness in life. Basically, everything that makes life worth living. This is a dramatic shift in the energy of love, relationships, and values. So Venus was in Capricorn up to January 17th, when it showed us a serious, committed, practical, traditional, mature way of living. With Venus in Aquarius from January 18th, we become or start seeing a more free-spirited, unconventional, friendship-oriented, independent, and innovative way of life. Practically after January 18th, there is a desire for more freedom in general for all of us in partnerships, attraction to unique people, intellectual connection mattering more than chemistry. Especially if you are a Capricorn with 26 to 30 degrees planets, ascendant, sun, moon, or any other planets, you are most directly impacted. If your Capricorn ascendant, sun, or moon is 26 to 30 degrees, this new moon is your master initiation. Specifically, this can see you, a very specific manifestation of this can be committing to a professional path that you've been building towards for years, or starting a business after years of planning and skill building, accepting a leadership role that you've earned, making a public commitment, book contract, speaking engagement, certification completion, or setting a 5 to 10 year goal that represents everything you've been working toward, stepping into authority position that you're finally ready for. Capricorn rising 20 degrees specifically, you've been in your field for years, mastered your craft, built your reputation. On January 18th, you set the intention or take action that represents your mastery. Launching your own firm, accepting the senior position, publishing your definitive work, or committing to the project that will define your legacy. This isn't youthful ambition, this is mature commitment to what you were born to build. So, Capricorn, for you on this same day of the new moon, you have already Venus in your or entering your second house of money and values, personal finances, resources, self-worth, material security in general. Venus brings value, innovation to finances and self-worth. Whether you're a Capricorn rising, exploring unconventional income, or Capricorn sun, redefining worth beyond achievement, or Capricorn moon, finding emotional security through financial freedom, you are questioning traditional values and discovering what you truly treasure. Money becomes about autonomy and authentic expression now. So for example, this can see you exploring alternative income streams, freelancing, investing in crypto or innovative companies, or monetizing a unique skill. You spend money on technology, experiences, or causes rather than traditional status symbols. You might receive unexpected income or financial support from unconventional sources now. Your self worth becomes less about external validation and more about authenticity. You value yourself for being unique rather than perfect, or you budget for freedom, not just security. Venus entering Aquarius on January 18 can bring all this into manifestation for you, Capricorn. And then one day after that, on January 19th, Sun will enter Aquarius. As you can see now, almost all planets have moved back from Capricorn into Aquarius. The Sun governs our core identity, the life force, vitality, ego, conscious will, and sense of purpose. It represents who we are in essence, our creative self-expression, and how we shine in the world. The Sun shows what gives us energy, what we are here to become, and the qualities we're developing throughout our lifetime. It's our central organizing principle. It's the I am at the heart of our being. Sun shifts from Capricorn into Aquarius, from traditional to revolutionary. Aquarius Sun energy speaks about innovation, progress, community, individuality, technology, freedom, intellectual stimulation. So, Capricorn, for you, when the Sun enters Aquarius on January 19th, it enters your it starts highlighting your second house of money, value, self-worth, and possessions, and joins Venus there. So if you're Capricorn rising, the Sun highlights your finances, values, and sense of self-worth. You're reevaluating what you truly value, and you're exploring innovative ways to earn, save, and invest your resources. Capricorn Sun finds their identity through financial independence and may experiment with unconventional income streams or value systems that prioritize freedom over traditional security. And Capricorn Moon seeks emotional security through financial stability, but needs to balance practical responsibility with progressive approaches to money and self-worth that don't solely depend on material success. So let's see, what more can the Sun emphasize for you in this second house when it's going to join a day later Venus there. So this can see you exploring alternative income sources like freelancing, consulting, or passive income through digital products, or you invest in index funds or socially responsible portfolios after doing your research. This might see you decluttering and selling possessions that you no longer value, realizing that accumulating stuff doesn't equal success. Or you reassess your salary and ask for a raise, or you pivot to a pay structure that values your unique skills. Perhaps negotiating remote work that saves commute costs, just an example. You also examine your self worth beyond your bank account, recognizing that your value isn't just what you earn, but the innovative perspectives and authentic contributions you bring to the world. And then on January 20th, we have the golden window for the Saturn Sextile Uranus. This has been active since December, I would say, with a very extended orb, say around 5 degrees orb, September 25th, and it will still going to continue to be felt until February 13th, give or take. But January 20th, it's very exact. The orb, it's very exact. Because Saturn is at 27 degrees. Is at 27 degrees Pisces, and Uranus is at 27 degrees Taurus. 27 degrees 32 minutes, 27 degrees 38 minutes. Very, very close. This is it. It's exact. Basically, what this represents for all of us is an opportunity for sustainable innovation, practical revolutionary and responsible changes, and structured creativity. So the key question here that we are being asked by this Saturn Sextile Uranus aspect is, what's one significant change I can make that's both revolutionary, Uranus, and responsible, Saturn? For you, Capricorn, Saturn in your third house is going to be in a perfect sextile with Uranus in your fifth house of creativity, third house of communication for Saturn. So if you're Capricorn rising, this sextile from Saturn to Uranus connects your communication and learning with creative expression and joy. You're developing skills systematically while allowing space for playful innovation and romantic risk taking. Capricorn Sun finds identity through mastering communication that serves creative goals, and Capricorn Moon feels emotionally secure when learning supports self expression, and relationships feel both exciting and reliable. For example, this can see you taking a structured course in a creative skill, like writing workshops with weekly assignments, or art classes with progressive skill building, or public speaking training that develops your authentic voice. You apply these skills to a creative project with a realistic timeline and milestones. In dating, you communicate your needs clearly while staying open to unconventional connections. Or you schedule regular creative dates with your partner, cooking classes, art museums, or collaborative projects. You are discovering that disciplined skill development enhances creative freedom, and clear communication makes room for romantic adventure. Specifically, if you are a Capricorn in between 25 to 29 degrees, Capricorn Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, you are one of the most affected signs. Saturn is in sextile to you, Uranus is in a trine to you. This can see career revolution grounded in tradition right now. You can definitely see some breakthrough if you are in between 25 to 29 degrees Sun, Moon, or Ascendant Capricorn. And this breakthrough can be discipline, communication, and learning. That's your third house that connects with creative innovation and self-expression in your fifth. That means your voice, writing or teaching, becomes a creative force, and you will definitely feel it. Capricorn rising, 27 degrees specifically. You've been developing communication skills, writing consistently, or studying. That is your Saturn in your third in the past 2.5 years. Around January 20th, this disciplined practice enables creative breakthrough. Your writing gets published, your podcast finds its voice, or your teaching style becomes uniquely your own. That's Uranus in the fifth. The structure of regular practice, Saturn, allows spontaneous creative flow, Uranus, or a creative project in your fifth house requires you to communicate about it, third house, and the combination of discipline and innovation makes it work. On January 20th, Mercury enters Aquarius. Mercury governs communication, thinking, learning, information processing. It also governs short trips, siblings, and the exchange of ideas. It represents how our mind works, how we speak and write, how we learn and teach, and how we connect the dots. Mercury is the messenger, the translator, the networker. It's about gathering information, making connections, and expressing what we know. Mercury shifts from Capricorn strategic thinking to Aquarius innovative thinking. So from January 20th until February 7th, Mercury in Aquarius is asking us to think outside the box, to be interested in science and technology, to be direct and authentic communicators, to be inventive problem solvers. Now, on the same date, also on 20th of January, when Mercury enters Aquarius, it enters and goes into your second house of money, values, self-worth, and possessions. So if you are a Capricorn rising, Mercury brings innovative thinking to finances and values. You're analyzing your relationship with money and resources with fresh perspective during this time. Capricorn Sun finds mental clarity about what you truly value beyond material success and communicates your worth confidently. And Capricorn Moon processes security needs intellectually and feels satisfied when you understand the principles behind wealth building and value creations. So specifically, this can see you researching alternative income streams, investment strategies, or financial independence models, reading about passive income, index fund investing, or entrepreneurship with analytical interest. So this is basically another reinforcement after Venus and the Sun already got in there. And all right, so now let's see. This can also see you having conversations about money that challenge conventional wisdom, maybe discussing salary transparency with colleagues or negotiating compensation with data-backed confidence. You might assess your possessions objectively now, questioning what you actually value versus what you have accumulated out of habit. You're thinking about your self-worth beyond your bank account. This theme keeps showing up with all the planets coming and entering your second house this week and when they enter Aquarius. You're questioning what you actually value versus what you have accumulated. So you're thinking about your self-worth beyond your bank account, and definitely you're communicating your value in professional contexts without apologizing or diminishing yourself. And now moving on to the final week of January. Final days. January 23rd is basically from January 23rd to January 26th is the Aquarius conversions and Neptune's historic shift. On January 23rd, it is Mars who enters Aquarius. Mars governs action, drive, energy, passion, anger, desire, assertion, and how we pursue what we want. It represents our warrior spirit, our physical vitality, our courage, competitiveness. Mars shows how we take initiative, how we defend ourselves, how we express anger, and how we channel our willpower. Is the planet of action, motivation, and forward momentum. Pure drive and desire made manifest. So Mars shifts from disciplined Capricorn to rebellious Aquarius. So Mars in Aquarius from January 23rd to March 4th. It's action motivated by ideals, fighting for causes, independent approach to goals, innovation in how you pursue your desires. For all of us, it is a completely transformed vibe from traditional to revolutionary. And now all personal planets are in Aquarius. The Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. So when Mars enters Aquarius, joins Mercury, Venus, and the Sun, Pluto is already there, in your second house of personal finances, resources, self-worth, your material security, and your values. So Mars drives aggressive action now on finances and values. Whether you're Capricorn rising, pursuing financial independence boldly, a Capricorn Sun finding identity through value innovation, or a Capricorn Moon emotionally motivated by material freedom, you're fighting for your financial freedom. Traditional jobs or income may feel constraining now. You want autonomy. So this can see you aggressively pursuing a raise or a promotion, documenting your value and demanding fair compensation. You can start a side business or freelance venture, investing in it boldly and marketing yourself with confidence. You might take calculated risks with investments, exploring stocks or innovative companies, or you cut expenses radically on things that don't align with your values anymore, or redirecting money towards freedom and experiences. Basically, this can see you refusing to undervalue yourself, walking away from clients or opportunities that don't respect your worth. And now, on January 26th, the Neptune enters Aries. This is a historic game changer. This is a once in 165 years historic event. Now, Neptune. It governs spirituality, dreams, imagination, illusions, compassion, transcendence, surrender, mysticism, and the dissolution of boundaries. It represents our connection to the divine, our capacity for unconditional love, our artistic inspiration, and our desire to merge with something greater than ourselves. Neptune can be both the highest spiritual vision and the deepest delusion. It's where we seek meaning beyond the material world. Neptune enters Aries at 0 degrees for the first time since 1861 1875. This is a fundamental shift. Until now, Aries was in Pisces, and it was saying dissolve your ego. Well, Neptune in Aries will now say take spiritual action. Neptune in Pisces was saying surrender to the flow. Neptune in Aries is now saying be a warrior for your beliefs. Or Neptune in Pisces was saying we are all one. Neptune in Aries is now saying have courage to pursue your dreams. What January 26 means for all of us, we will all feel something shift. A sudden courage, a calling to fight for a cause, or impatience with passive practices. Now, when Neptune finally enters Aries, it is entering your fourth house of home, family roots, foundation, emotional security, and belonging. So Neptune transforms here your concept of home and belonging. Well, we'll start doing that in the next 13 years. Whether you're Capricorn rising, creating sanctuary that honors spirit and independence, a Capricorn sun, finding identity through authentic family structures, or a Capricorn moon, discovering emotional security through spiritual practice at home, you are being called to redefine roots and belonging courageously. The next 13 years bring home to spiritual foundation. So, for example, you can create a home altar or a sacred space dedicated to your spiritual practice, treating your living environment as a as a temple. You might move to a place that feeds your soul. You're somewhere near nature, for example, or in a spiritual community, or somewhere you've always dreamed of. Your definition of family expands beyond biology to chosen family and spiritual community. Or you confront family patterns courageously right now. Start doing that, healing ancestral wounds while honoring lineage. Home becomes where you can be completely yourself. Spiritual warrior in private preparation for public action. You are most activated if you are a Capricorn in between 0 to 2 degrees, because Neptune is squaring your sun, moon, or ascendant, or any other planet you have in Capricorn in between 0 to 2 degrees. There is a tension now between home security and spiritual action. This creates friction between traditional authority and career structures and spiritual calling. So you might feel your career path dissolving or being called to leave corporate world for spiritual work. It's a possibility. Definitely Capricorn rising between 0 and 2 degrees, or midheaven 0 to 2 degrees Capricorn for any sign. Your public role, career, is being spiritualized now. This could mean, like I said, even either a leaving traditional job to become healer or teacher, or staying in career but infusing it with spiritual purpose. So bringing mindfulness to the business, feeling like authority structures are illusions, or being called to lead spiritually rather than hierarchically. The resolution isn't either or, it's disciplined spiritual practice. That's Saturn in Capricorn nature. In service or divine mission. That's Neptune in Aries calling. Throughout the entire month of January, Uranus has been a retrograde in Taurus. And at the end of the month, it's starting to prepare for its direct station in Taurus. Uranus governs revolution, innovation, sudden change, awakening, rebellion, independence, technology, and liberation. It represents breakthroughs, genius insights, unconventional thinking, and the drive to break free from limitation. Uranus disrupts the status quo, bringing unexpected events that shake us awake and force evolution. It's the planet of progress, individuality, and a radical authenticity. Change happens suddenly but leads to freedom. Uranus now is at its final degrees in its 7-year journey in Taurus. It's been retrograding since September last year. It's now getting ready to station direct. It will happen exactly at the beginning of February, but that we can start feeling its direct motion effects. And what that will bring is basically a forward movement that it's activating in finances, values, material resources, technology, and lifestyle, which is what Taurus represents. Changes you can now implement, all of us in general, while Uranus is getting ready to move direct, are new jobs, investment strategies, lifestyle changes, and technology upgrades. Now, Capricorn, with Uranus retrograde the entire month into your fifth house in Taurus, you will be most activated if you are a Capricorn sun, moon, or rising in between 25 to 30 degrees, as Uranus is basically trining your sign. This is career revolution grounded in tradition. So Uranus retrograde in your fifth house, your creativity and romance. This internal revolution about creative expression, romance, children, joy, authenticity will be mostly felt for the degrees that I've mentioned. So if you're in those degrees, you can also be finalizing some creative changes at this moment. When Uranus will station direct next month, early in February, your creativity will flow freely. So you can see clarity then on artistic path, understanding your romantic needs, and make decisions about children and or just simply reconnecting with joy. Now let's have a look at Jupiter. Jupiter is also, let's have a look, Jupiter here. It's also been retrograding the entire month in Cancer. Jupiter governs expansion, growth, wisdom, optimism, faith, abundance, higher learning, and the search for meaning. It represents our capacity for hope, generosity, philosophical understanding, and the principle that life is fundamentally benevolent. Jupiter shows where we seek to grow, what we believe in, how we find meaning, and our relationship with luck and opportunity. When a retrograde, Jupiter turns growth inward, developing internal wealth, wisdom, and faith rather than external expansion. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, but it's being retrograding, so it's about internal expansion. What you're experiencing, what you can be experiencing, or all of us can be experiencing during this time, is internal emotional growth, or reviewing home and family matters, building internal security. The blessings are happening inside ourselves this month. So, in general, Jupiter, the most activated degrees this month are from 17 to 21 degrees, because Jupiter is retrograde from 21 to 17 degrees Cancer throughout January 2026. Until it will station direct, it will continue its retrograde motion during next month as well. So let's dive a little bit deeper into understanding Jupiter retrograde. When Jupiter, the planet of expansion, abundance, and wisdom, it's retrograde, the growth turns inward. Instead of external opportunities and blessings, you are experiencing internal expansion, physical deepening, emotional wisdom, spiritual growth. Jupiter in Cancer retrograde specifically means reviewing your emotional needs, your family relationships, your sense of home, and what truly makes you feel secure. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. This means Jupiter functions at its absolute best in Cancer. Even retrograde, Jupiter in Cancer brings blessings, but they're internal, private, and emotional rather than external and visible. This entire month is perfect for emotional healing, family reconciliation, inner work on security issues, and understanding what home truly means to you. Don't expect external expansion just yet. That comes after Jupiter goes direct in March. January is about internal emotional abundance. All month, Jupiter retrograde in Cancer brings internal blessings like emotional intelligence. This can see you understanding feelings deeply, becoming emotionally wiser. It can bring family healing, internal shifts in family relating, even without external conversations. It can bring home appreciation, gratitude for where you live. It can bring nurturing capacity, so you can become better at caring for self and others. It can bring you security, wisdom, understanding what truly creates security for you. It can be about feeling connected to your ancestral lineage, or in general, it's inner wealth. It's about your emotional abundance regardless of the externals. So use January for internal work. External manifestations comes in March when Jupiter goes direct. So, during the entire month, when Jupiter is a retrograde in Pisces, it will influence your seventh house of commitment, partnership, marriage, contracts, and one-on-one relationships. Jupiter retrograde in your partnership sector brings internal expansion through relationships. So, whether you're Capricorn rising, reviewing your approach to commitment, a Capricorn sun, finding identity through understanding partnership needs, or a Capricorn moon, emotionally fulfilled by relationship reflection, you're growing through examining how you relate. New relationships wait, understanding yourself in partnership happens now. So, for example, this can see you reflecting deeply on what you need in partnership and whether current relationships meet those needs. If partnered, you're examining your role in relationship dynamics, where you give too much or too little, how you maintain identity within partnership, what you need that you haven't asked for. If you're single, you're not actively dating, but getting clear on what partnership means to you beyond loneliness or social expectation. You might work with a therapist or coach on relationship patterns. The clarity you gain now will attract better partnership or improve existing ones at the moment that Jupiter is going to start going direct. Specifically, you are most effective if you have planets or angles, so any other planets, in between 17 to 21 degrees Capricorn, because Jupiter is opposite you, so it creates this career versus home tension or public versus private balance. But those 17 to 21 degrees will feel it mostly during this month. So that means for you specifically, you can really start reviewing your work life balance now, or you're questioning career versus family priorities, or you have an internal dialogue about success versus fulfillment, preparing for integration of ambition and emotional needs when Jupiter is going to start moving direct. Now, throughout the month, we're also having Saturn in Pisces at its final degrees. Saturn governs structure, discipline, responsibility, maturity, limitations, time, authority, and mastery through effort. It represents our relationship with reality, hard work, long term commitment, and the principle that growth requires patience and dedication. Saturn shows where we must mature, what we're building over time, and where we face our greatest tests. It's the wise teacher who demands excellence. It's the taskmaster who creates lasting achievement through disciplined effort. Saturn is now completing a 2.5 year journey through Pisces, and it will enter Aries next month. We are all now being asked to complete our spiritual projects, to master boundaries with compassion, and to release martyrdom patterns. Now, this final month of Saturn in Pisces, let's see how this reflects onto you, Capricorn. Saturn is in your third house and will be in here in your third house for the last time. It has been here in the past 2.5 years. So the third house governs communication, learning, mind, local community, siblings, your voice basically. So Saturn's final teachings in your mental sector complete your education in authentic communication. Whether you're a Capricorn rising, mastering your voice, a Capricorn sun, finding identity through mature thinking, or a Capricorn moon, emotionally secure through clear expression, you've learned to speak with both truth and compassion. Next month, Saturn moves to your home sector. Now you demonstrate communication mastery. So, for example, your communication style has matured significantly um, in the past 2.5 years. Basically, you say less but mean more, or speak with authority backed by experience, and express difficult truths with compassion. Or you might be completing educational pursuits, certifications, or learning projects that you've committed to seriously in the past. Relationships with siblings or neighbors have either deepened through honest communication or established clear boundaries. Bottom line, you have mastered the balance between speaking your truth and listening with openness. Your voice now carries weight and wisdom. And let's have a look at Pluto now. Pluto, again, all month long, it will be in Aquarius. Pluto governs transformation, death and rebirth, power, the unconscious, obsession, and the process of deep fundamental change. It represents what must die so something new can be born, where we experience power and powerlessness, and our capacity for profound psychological transformation. Pluto digs beneath the surface to expose truth, eliminates what's no longer viable, and catalyzes complete metamorphosis. It's the planet of evolution through crisis, of intensity through healing, and empowerment through facing our shadows. Transforming collective consciousness, technology, power structures throughout from 2026 to 2043. So the themes of Pluto in Aquarius in general is technology's role in society, power in networks, collective movements. With Pluto in your second house in Aquarius, which is your second house of personal finances, resources, self-worth, values, and material power, Pluto here transforms your relationship with money, and it's been here and it's going to stay here at the initial degrees during the month of January. So it transforms during this time your relationship with money, resources, and worth, and it's going to do that over the next 19 years. So whether you're Capricorn rising, rebuilding financial foundation, a Capricorn sun, fighting identity through transformed values, or a Capricorn moon, emotionally secure through authentic worth, you're experiencing complete metamorphosis of material life. Everything you valued will be questioned. So, for example, your financial life will transform radically in the next 19 years. And for those of you who are at the beginning degrees of Capricorn, you probably already started to notice that since last year. So you might experience extremes of wealth and loss that teach you about true security. You're drawn to innovative income streams like technology ventures, collective business models that break from traditional employment. Your values transform completely during this time. What you thought mattered proves superficial, while new values emerge from authentic self knowing. Self worth separates entirely from net worth. You become powerful through knowing your intrinsic value. You might obsess over financial systems or understanding how money and power operate in society. That's also a manifestation of Pluto in the second house. But know that true wealth will become internal now. Specifically for Capricorn, a rising sun or moon in between 2 and 4 degrees, you will feel this more than the others. So you will feel Pluto in your second house of finances. It's a multi-year financial transformation for you. Your self-worth evolves, so your self-worth evolution, and you can see your values shifting at this point. Your material security is transforming. So this can really be meaningful for you, as in your income source is completely changing right now, financial power emerging, self-worth, rebirth and death and rebirth of your self-worth, values transforming, releasing material attachments and finding authentic wealth. For those of you out there in between 2 to 4 degrees, this will probably be manifesting a lot more, and you can feel this more intensively. And finally, the North and South Node. The North Node is in Pisces, and the South Node is in Virgo. The lunar nodes are the points where the moon's orbit crosses the ecliptic, marking our soul's evolutionary path. The North Node shows where we're growing, the new skills, the attitudes, and experiences we are meant to develop in this lifetime. The South Node represents our comfort zone, natural talents and past patterns that we must release to evolve. The nodes reveal our karmic direction, what we are moving toward, the North, and what we're moving away from, the South Node. They show the fundamental tension between comfortable habits and necessary growth. So the North Node is about surrender, compassion, creativity, and faith. The South Node is about releasing perfectionism, overanalysis, and control. Collectively, we are asked to trust more, control less, feel more, analyze less, due to the nodes being in Pisces and Virgo. That would be a general understanding. Now, for you Capricorn, the North Node in Pisces is in your 3rd house, and the South Node in Virgo is in your 9th house. So your evolution is from philosophical perfectionism to intuitive communication. Sorry, the other way around. So your soul's evolution involves releasing perfectionist belief systems to embrace intuitive, compassionate communication. Whether you are Capricorn rising, learning to share ideas fluidly, a Capricorn sun, finding identity through creative expression, or a Capricorn moon, emotionally fulfilled by authentic conversation, you are being called to trust your voice and release the need for perfectly systematized philosophy. Speak from your heart. So, for example, this can see you learning to stop over-analyzing beliefs and philosophies, instead expressing ideas intuitively and creatively through writing, speaking, or teaching. Your communication becomes more poetic and less pedantic, more feeling and less thinking. You might explore creative writing, storytelling, or conversations that flow with emotion rather than logic. Relationships with siblings and neighbors deepen through compassion rather than debate. You are discovering that some truths are best expressed through metaphor, music, or art rather than systematic philosophy. And that's January 2026 for you. Quick recap of your power dates. January 3rd, full moon emotions peak. January 18th, new moon, set your intentions. January 20th, Saturn Sextile Uranus, your golden window for sustainable change. January 26th, Neptune Enters Aries, once in 165 years. Feel that shift. January 30th, Uranus is preparing to move direct after months of retrograde. It changes finally move forward. If you want a full deep dive, 90 minutes plus covering your entire 2026, link is in the description and pinned in the comment. Drop your rising sign below, hit like if this helped, subscribe for February's forecast, and remember, the stars don't control you, they inform you. What you do with this energy is up to you. See you in the next one. Bye for now.